Howdy everyone, Holly from Enjoy the Journey Dog Training. Thank you for visiting my channel. This video is going to be just a quick overview of the different tools and resources that I use. There'll be follow-up videos to each individual one in addition to the different methods, concepts, and philosophy that I follow as a family balanced dog trainer. So thank you so much again for watching my videos. Please comment and ask me any questions that you may have, or reach out if I can be of any help to you and your family. Thank you. So the first thing I want to point out are resources. In my 3-year journey to become a balanced dog trainer, I have dived in, went down the rabbit hole, so many different resources, mentors, colleagues, friends, and family to really find who I am as a dog trainer in hopes of being able to help families really enjoy life with their dogs. One main resource I can't advocate and encourage everyone to take advantage of is unlimited knowledge that's out there. As Gary Vee says, Google's your new mother. Just Google it. Be, again, discerning about what you digest. If you find yourself getting frustrated or annoyed, just move on to the next one. My main mentor, one of my main mentors is Sean O'Shea. You can get both The Good Dog Way, Loving Them by Leading Them Volume 1, and now Volume 2 on Amazon or through his website. I hope he doesn't mind me shouting out, but all of my clients get a free copy of these books going forward because they're just a wealth of knowledge, particularly about mindset and getting our head right and aligned with our heart as we're guiding and leading our dogs into really a more enjoyable life with us. So, Good Dog Way. He also has a really cool personal development book called Closing the Gap. Some other cool resources, again, knowledge. These are hardback books. I love hardback books, but you can also get these on Audible, Kindle, I'm sure, all kinds of different platforms. But this is the Monks of New Skeet. Sorry if these are backwards. I'm still learning how to video. The Art of Raising a Puppy. Let Dogs Be Dogs. They have a whole plethora of them. Just a gold standard of balanced dog training. So highly recommend. Again, Google it. Get your knowledge bank, if you will, full. Ask questions and learn. Never stop learning, right? So those are some of the resources that I use to build my knowledge bank. But now I'll move on to some of the tools. Again, this is not everything. Our whole life is a tool. Our whole lifestyle helps us communicate with our dogs. But these are some of the basic tools that I use and have in my belt, if you will. The first thing is a clicker. Kind of like really, really firm popcorn. And a clicker is a great way to mark the behaviors we want. We see this a lot in learning and teaching puppies how to do what we want. It marks the behavior. Now that's paired with food. I'm not necessarily advertising for any particular brand. I personally like these little Zooks. And you don't need treats that are huge. As a matter of fact, the smaller the better because you're going to get more repetitions. But these little tiny nuggets of goodness, all the dogs love. They're very healthy, and I cut them in half, make them last longer. To go with the food and the clicker, sometimes you have to load off a goodie bag. Again, just anything will do, a Ziploc, a cup, but I just put the little treats in there and you can wear it and just make that part of your daily activity. A lot of times I'll use the dog's actual meals to train them throughout the day. So you don't have to buy anything fancy. They certainly don't need what we would call high value treats in order to learn. Not all dogs are food driven, but that'll be another video. Next fun thing is a muzzle. I like Baskerville muzzles. Again, sorry that it's backwards, but they come in all kinds of shapes or sizes. You can shape them to fit better. Again, we'll do another video on muzzle conditioning. All dogs, in my opinion, should be muzzle conditioned because all dogs can bite. Not that they will, but they can. And so it's a great conditioning tool. If they have to go to the vet, if they get injured, if they get sick, or just, again, a great relationship building protocol that you can do. Again, clicker and reward to condition them to the muzzle. Love it. Next fun thing is toys, right? Resources. Different dogs like different things. By the way, if you do hear squeaking, that's the puppy in the other room. He has too many of these and he's a little murderer. Squeaker toys. I personally feel like it's safer to have toys that they can't shred, that are not filled with stuffing. Again, doesn't have to be super high quality as long as you're watching your pet and making sure that they're not ingesting it or destroying it. If so, then these toys don't get used. But toys are another resource we use to engage the dog in what we want, and to really use their instinctual drive, if you will, to encourage the behavior that we're looking for. Okay. Now we're on to a little bit more serious tools, like must-haves, and that is, for me, a leash. Seems pretty basic. Doesn't have to be fancy. Not a flexi leash that doesn't give us the control that we need when we're trying to communicate with our dogs. Preferably not one too cheaply made. You want to have a really good clasp so that it doesn't come undone. Simple. Don't make it complicated. There are some really good leashes out there that have different mechanisms to help you go off leash, or if you have a really strong dog, things like that. But for basic training, a simple leash will do. But this is your steering wheel. This is your communication line, if you will, to your dog. Again, we'll be using leashes all the time until they're totally off leash reliable with the e-collar. But definitely, let's use our leash. Let's use our tools. I love to have puppies drag it along in the house and get used to it. You can even get just the really, cheap dollar store cat leashes to help condition a dog to get used to the leash, and then you have a means of communication. So leash, understated, underused, critical. All right, next thing we have is a bonker. Woo, bonker. Bop, bop, bop. I will be doing a whole nother set of videos on how to make a bonker, why we use bonkers, what is a bonker, and in all different kinds of settings. But a bonker is simply a rolled up towel. It's tied with some hair bands because I ran out of the regular rubber bands. That's all it is, a soft cotton towel. We use bonkers to interrupt behavior. We use bonkers to correct behavior. If you have a dog that is doing something you don't want it to do, jumping, right, biting, nipping, whining excessively even, we want to interrupt and correct that behavior and help the dog's mindset say, oh, I don't do that. Bonker, again, underrated, simple tool to communicate correctly what we don't want the dog to do, right? Our clicker and our food helps us communicate what we do want. Bonker is one tool we use to interrupt and correct behavior we don't want. Love a bonker. Get to bonking. Again, please make sure you ask any questions going forward on anything. An open book, and I really want to make sure people understand and have the knowledge to be successful. All right, moving on to our prong collars. Prong collar, also known as a training collar, is one of the main methods of communication I use. Again, I'm going to do a separate video or multiple videos on the prong collar, and each of my families gets hands-on personal training with it. This is just an overview. But a prong collar is Herm Springer is the only brand that I use. It's very well made in Germany. It's properly machined so that it cannot hurt your dog. And again, we'll talk about the mechanics of it and how to use it. But if you've ever heard of a prong collar, pinch collar, training collar, and you have any confusion or misconceptions, please let me know. I want to help you understand. And if it's not for you, that's okay, as are all these tools. But in my program, a prong collar is one of the first communication devices or tools that I will use with your dog to help them understand the concept of pressure on, which is no, and pressure off, which is yes. Again, that's another video. This is a 2.25 millimeter Herm Sprenger, and that's the most commonly used training collar. We fit this to the dog's neck. This is also a Herm Sprenger, but it's a 3 millimeter. Again, much bigger prongs, same concept, same science, if you will. And we'll talk about why we use different sizes on another video. Another cool thing I have, thankfully, thank you to Katie's Buckle, shout out to her, katiesbuckle.com, is these buckles that you can adapt in the prong collar in order to make it easier to get on and off. So again, simple tool, make our lives easier. That way we can get to training and enjoying life with our dogs. All right, last but not least, oh, I forgot the place cut. Kennel's in the other room. I think you can visualize a kennel. Wonderful household management tool. If you've got a dog that's chewing things, peeing on stuff, I cannot encourage you enough to give them a space to chill out, a space to calm down, a space to kind of reflect and get their mind right. Think of it like their own little den and yoga studio, if you will. Wish I had that. But kennel is one of the number one, if not the only, way I know to really manage your household, especially with young dogs or excitable dogs, as most dogs are. The next one is a place cot. Sorry, this video may not be big enough. It's a little cot, right? It's a little bed. It's their little hammock, if you will. Doesn't have to be, again, fancy. I like the ones that are raised off the ground so that the dog has a defined space. But it could be a towel. It could be a fluffy dog pillow. Anything that's defined space that says, hey, go here, stay here, right? Again, another video of how we use that, but a wonderful household management tool. Last but not least, in more advanced training, especially if you want to have off-leash adventures with your dog, I will and do recommend the Mini Educator by eCollar Technologies. This cute little Dalmatian on the front. He's even wearing glasses, so you know he's smart. Again, eCollar, we'll have a whole series of videos eventually on those. Is just another tool that we use to communicate pressure on, pressure off. Yes and no. What we do want and what we don't want, right? As with all of these tools, how you run your household, how you manage your lifestyle with your dog, you have to remember that none of that actually trains your dog. None of that teaches your dog what your expectations are, what the rules and boundaries are. You do. So we have to know how to use our tools. We need to know what we're trying to communicate effectively in a matter-of-fact, calm manner. And that's true also with the eCollar, right? It can be used in a variety of different ways for a variety of different reasons, but the tools themselves do not train the dog, you do, okay? So quick little intro to the eCollar. Again, this is for more advanced training, or if you have a particularly excitable dog and you're trying to get their focus, a lot of your high drive, working line, German Shepherds, Huskies, just to name a few, there's tons more. They really, really are usually keen to the Mini Educator and the eCollar. It is similar to a TENS unit, muscular stimulation, and yes, technically it's a shock. Again, more videos on all that science later, but this is the little receiver that sits on your dog necks. They make all kind of different types. For my Huskies, I have these little wings because they have such thick hair. And then, of course, you have a remote, different buttons and connections to, again, effectively communicate what you want. So I hope that gives you a good idea. And I haven't lost you too much in all these things. Different, again, tools and resources to help you communicate better with your dog so you can enjoy life a little bit more. And again, remember, you train the dog. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. You may have to make changes. The tools don't. But arm yourself with the knowledge, ask questions, seek help if you need it, and I can't wait to see what adventures you go on. Thanks for watching my videos, guys. More to come.